much, Judy, for this opportunity. Welcome, and thank you to each and every one of you, old friends and new. But I'm honored to be at any event put on by the esteemed organization, the National Endowment for Democracy. I want to thank you for all of your efforts to promote freedom and justice and liberty and democracy worldwide. So I thank all of the board members. If you're a board member of NED, stand up and let us give you a warm applause. Thank you. They are real heroes. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be here this evening to join you in honoring the civil society in Iran for their courage against the Iranian regime's brutal oppression and repression. In the discussions about the Iranian regime's pursuit of nuclear weapons program or its state sponsorship of terrorism, the terror that the leaders in Tehran inflict upon the people, their very own citizens, is often overlooked. Because so much of what they do is awful, we overlook the more human part. So we need organizations like the National Endowment for Democracy, and we need events such as this one tonight to highlight the plight of the Iranian people, particularly when the United Nations Human Rights Council, and I use the term lightly, fails to condemn that regime's brutality, and instead Iran is elected by acclamation to the UN Conference on the Status of Women. A country that stones women to death is now in the UN Conference on the Status of Women. It's a Kafkaesque world. So my good friend and my dear colleague Rosa DeLauro and I are so proud to stand here in solidarity with the Iranian people and with all who support wonderful causes. Freedom, democracy, the universally declared principles of human rights and freedom. The thugs in power in Tehran practice torture. They practice flogging, amputation, and murder. The regime conducts systematic, official discrimination against women, Baha'is, Christian, Jews, dissident Muslims. No discrimination. They will flog anyone who disagrees with the regime. It's as simple as that. Gay people are hanged from cranes, even as their very existence in Iran is denied by Ahmadinejad. Tehran also still enforces a menacing atmosphere that denies Baha'is the right to inherit property, refuses to recognize their marriages, pressures Baha'is to recant their beliefs, and lets Baha'is be killed with impunity. Open war on anyone who practices that faith. All 7 members of the National Baha'i leadership in Iran remain in prison where they have been held unjustly for 2 years and are on trial on trumped-up charges that potentially carry the death penalty. Since last June's sham elections, the regime has intensified its repression, increasing restrictions on everyone's freedom of religion, expression, association, assembly, and the press. Thousands of protesters, of dissidents, and journalists have been arbitrarily detained and killed, with innocent people shot on the streets, and the Stalinist show trials continue to this day. Even Iranians who succeeded in fleeing the country are reportedly still in danger as agents of the Iranian regime threaten them with death if they continue to speak out and protest human rights violations in their native homeland. Despite this repression, the people of Iran continue to put their lives on the line in pursuit of freedom, and the United States and other responsible nations must stand shoulder to shoulder with them. We must aid those seeking freedom in Iran, including through more robust funding for democracy programs in Iran, and by fully implementing existing U.S. sanctions and imposing new ones targeting the regime's vulnerabilities. And I am proud to be the lead House sponsor of a bill that's led by Senators John McCain, whom I know you heard from today when he addressed the National Endowment for Democracy, introduced by John McCain and Joe Lieberman, the bipartisan Iran Human Rights Sanctions Act. This legislation would require the President to designate and sanction those who violate the human rights of the people of Iran. And both houses of Congress must pass this bill without delay. And in closing, I'd like to quote from Holocaust survivor and Nobel Peace Prize winner Elie Wiesel when he said, and I think he was speaking in a prescient way about the Iranian people's struggle. He said, "We must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented." With these words in mind, let us take sides and act together in support of the people of Iran. Felicidades.